MixLR.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. Appreciate your patience this morning as we got set and ready to go on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. As you know, we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. Inside of the Cafe Football studios, you can watch and listen on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. You can listen worldwide on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. So once again, from the Cafe Football studios, very happy to be here with you. Cafe Football, 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, as well as in their drive-through location on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corner. So make sure you head out to Cafe Football today. And when you get a bag, grab a bag for somebody else. The Christmas blend is still available while supplies last, so make sure you go out and get it. Awesome show, jumping right into it. 3 fantastic guests. You know, hour number 2 is dedicated every Wednesday to fantasy football. So Mike Sofko will be joining me of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com, and we'll be bringing you our Week 17 thoughts for your fantasy football. If you have questions, comments on your specific team, make sure you message us on Facebook, MixLR, or YouTube.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. When that video airs, when we start the new video in hour number 2, as you know, Wednesdays we do 2 videos, not 1 straight through, because fantasy football is so big with what we do. Want to make sure you can get to it quickly. So, with that being said, hour number 1 dedicated to 2 fantastic guests. I'm calling it the Leadership Lounge. And the first up in the Leadership Lounge is someone you're always used to hearing all throughout the month, each month, and that is Bob Beretta in AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, Bob of Moyne College, and of course our Dolphin time every Wednesday to start off the show is no different with our bonus Wednesday this month. We have 5 Wednesdays instead of 4, so Bob gets a 3rd spot here, a special to have him on. I'm always happy to have Bob on. And right after Bob Beretta, we'll be joined by President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, and so much more, and that is Gary Stokan in a special video conversation you will not want to miss. So, with that being said, let's bring in Mr. Beretta for Dolphin time. Bob, how are we doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Dan. How are you today?
Doing very well, Bob. I feel like we were talking about it off the air. I feel like the last time I saw you was 2005.
It seems like it's been a while, that's for sure. I hope all is well and you're staying safe and healthy. You had a great Christmas holiday, Dan, with your family.
Yeah, definitely did. I hope you did too. Do you have any traditions, Bob, that you do when it comes to Christmas and whatnot? Is there anything that you try to do special?
You know, probably boring on that front, Dan. The thing that we do is it's my wife and my daughter Julia. It's the 3 of us, and it's really been a pretty simple, basic tradition for us. And we go to mass on Christmas Eve, and we go, whether it be early afternoon or a little bit now as she's gotten older, we've gone a little bit later in the day, and really just a quiet night, just the family, and we spend time together, and don't do a whole lot that might be exciting to a lot of people, but it's a nice time to shut down. You know, for many years I was at West Point in the athletic department, and I didn't have that opportunity if I was on the road with a bowl game with the football team. So to be able to just turn things down a little bit and kind of refocus and recenter, I really enjoy the peace, the quiet, and really let the season kind of take over and wash over the entire family.
And for you, Bob, you know, you and I are both very proudly strong in our faith, love God, and you were at a school that promotes that. I obviously started my business promoting that and wanting to be at the head of that as we grow. So what can you say about, you know, Jesus being the reason for the season, and that it's not just about, hey, who bought me those power tools, or I got that new TV and whatnot, that it actually is so much more than that?
Yeah, it really is a time to recenter and refocus. And I attended an event at Moyne College. I think it was early December, December 5th or 6th, a Sunday night, and it's a tradition at the school, and it's run by Tom Andino, who's the head of the campus ministry department at Moyne. Who just does he's an amazing individual, just fantastic, and we speak every couple of weeks. We just take time to kind of exchange thoughts and ideas. Anyway, they put on this event that's been going on for 40 years. I learned it's called Lessons and Carols, and it was in the chapel at Moyne, and it's a combination. It's really the Christmas story that's told through readings and song, and it was amazing. It was just incredible, and what a great way to kind of start the Christmas season, to really center and focus on what is really important and what this is all about. So to me, that was just an unbelievable way to begin the Christmas season, to kind of refocus, recenter on what it's all about. And just honestly, in the last couple of years, to really be grateful for the opportunities we have to spend with family and friends, because nothing's guaranteed. We know tomorrow is not guaranteed. And as we found out that we need to be, these times are precious that we have with each other, and we need to value them.
You know, and Bob, the fluidity of the times in these last almost 2 years now, heading toward 20 months of this COVID, whatever you want to call it. How have you worked to be fluid and to be able to adjust to different protocols, be it the county, be it the state, be it, you know, the NE10, the school itself, just how you've developed maybe a plan and tried to work through that plan and have that fluidity, knowing that things can really change in an instant when it comes to different protocol going on right now?
I think the word that you've heard so often, Dan, around athletic circles and really in business as well, has been to be nimble, and you have to be proactive, but you have to be nimble and prepared to adjust. I think that while I was at West Point in the summer of 2020, the first COVID summer, right, and going into that football season, that prepared me like no other to be able to adjust, shift and adjust and be nimble and adapt quickly with our football schedule. I had over 200 iterations of our football schedule that year, because games were changing, opponents were changing daily, sometimes hourly. So that prepared me well for this position at Moyne, and with our current situation, we thought that maybe we'd be in a better position than we are in terms of, the disease, and certainly that it continues to spike, and we have to be very nimble. The new guidelines from the CDC that came in this week certainly, allow us to change how we approach our individuals that test positive, and so we just have to continually try to look ahead, try to be prepared for the unknown and build a plan, but also have plan B and plan C, and understand that the way we did things 5 years ago may not be necessarily the way that we can conduct business in 2022. It certainly hasn't been the way we can conduct business in 2020 and 2021. So at times it's led to a lot of creativity and efficiencies, and in some cases we've adopted some policies and some regulations and some guidances, some guidelines that are better, that have helped us. And that's how we have to look at this, as an opportunity to streamline, to get better, and to see where maybe some of these new initiatives or best practices that we can adopt moving forward.
Yeah, and as we grow here with the Director of Athletics, Bob Beretta of Moyne College, just what you're thankful for as we head out of this year of 2021 into 2022. How are we leaving 2021? How are you in Moyne, I guess is the better question. How do you see you and Moyne College leaving 2021 and entering 2022?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It's a great question, Dana. I'm grateful. I mean, it comes down to one word for me. I'm grateful for the leadership of the institution. I'm grateful for President Lemura's leadership as a strong leader, at voice of reason at this institution. Her leadership group, vice presidents. We have tremendous working relationships. I'm grateful for the regulations that the school put in place to make everything in 2021 possible for our student athletes. I'm so thankful for our student athletes that they've been patient, and they continue to be patient, and their lives have been impacted to the degree that none of us can imagine. I know that I could never imagine as a student athlete back at St. Bonaventure when I played, and now to see what they have to go through on a daily basis. In fact, we pulled a trip from our swimming team here because they were going to do a training trip in Florida during the break, and we just felt like it was too risky. It was too risky to send 45 student athletes to Florida, and if they test positive and we're not there. But they've been understanding, they've been patient. So I'm so thankful for their willingness to look at the big picture. We're trying to prioritize competitions. We're trying to prioritize their championship opportunities. And so there's sometimes we have to make there's decisions we have to make that may not be popular in the moment, but that are certainly in the best interest of their health and safety. That will always be our North Star. So as we leave 2021, I'm thankful for the opportunities that our student athletes received. They were able to get back on their playing fields and competitive environments and give them some hope, let them chase their passion. And that's, student athletes want to compete. They want to perform. And 2020 was really difficult. Several teams lost their seasons, and some even bled into 21. And we're hopeful now that we've been able to preserve those opportunities moving forward. So while it's been difficult and challenging without question, I'm grateful for the opportunities that we have had. And I'm so hopeful that 2022 will bring a bit of normalcy. I think we'll have a bumpy road for the first 6 weeks here. I do believe it's going to be difficult in January and into February. And all that we're hearing from our medical advisors and specialists is that it's going to be a tough couple of weeks here. But we do think that heading into the spring and summer that maybe things will settle back down and we can approach the academic year 2022-23 with a little more normalcy. Having said that, grateful for the opportunities that we have had, and that's all because of the leadership of this institution and the people like President Lemura who have made it all possible.
That coming from Bob Beretta, Director of Athletics from Moyne College, here with us, and used to seeing him and having him for AD and DT every first and third Wednesday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively. Bob, before I let you go, I'd love to go to the college football side of things for a second as we look down the road at a hopeful Moyne football team, as I joke with you about, but also tell the truth about. And so I'd love to get your thoughts on, now I predicted with Papa Joe came onto the show, and a great family member of mine, extremely amazing brain and just great in the world of sports. Him and I predicted all 43 bowl games. Every single one of them, 86 teams in total. And I got a good record moving forward here. One of the games that I picked for the team to have the victory that I'm going to jump into here is the Armed Forces Bowl, where I selected Army to defeat Missouri of the SEC. And Army did the thing, and they defeated them. Can we go into your former digs of 34 years and how an Army West Point taking down Missouri?
Well, with great pride, I'd like to talk about that. Congratulations. I've been following your picks. You've done very well, and I'm very appreciative of that selection for the Black Knights. But it was probably the most riveting game of the college football bowl season to date. Walk-off field goal. And even with that, a flag on the last play, and you had to kind of wait to see to make sure that it was on Missouri. But it was a great bounce-back victory for the Black Knights. They come off a devastating loss, and I don't think, unless you're involved in that rivalry in any way, shape, or form, it's very difficult to understand the magnitude of that game, what it does to you emotionally if you win, and what it does to you emotionally if you lose. It guts you. It really does. And Army went into that game as a heavy underdog, heavy favorite, I should say. Navy was a heavy underdog, 7.5 points, and Army played one of its worst games of the year, and it was devastating. But for the Black Knights, they were able to bounce back and refocus, and that's leadership. That's Coach Jeff Monken. He's one of the best in the business. I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to have a lot to do with bringing him to West Point, running that coaching search. But he was able to get those cadet athletes' minds focused right back on the goal, and they gave them another opportunity to end their career in some cases, in their seasons, in all cases, with a victory. And how about what I loved about that story, and I don't think got nearly enough attention, Dan, was so Army falls down. with a minute 11 seconds to go and everyone running the option, people are like, well, this is going to be trouble. The starting quarterback, who can throw the ball extremely well, Christian Anderson's out with an injury. The number 2 quarterback, Tyler, who ran the offense for much of last year due to injury to Christian, is a running quarterback. So now you're down to your third-string quarterback, who you're going to ask him to drive down in the field goal range in the final minute. Yeah. He hadn't played all year, and now is where the story gets really interesting, and it was so satisfying to watch for Jabari Laws. This is a young man who sustained 2 ACLs. So he had an ACL injury, was a starter for Army 2 years ago, had an ACL, knocked him out of that season, returned to preseason camp in the fall of 2020, and retore his ACL in August, out of the season for 2020. Comes back into 2021, gets on the field in the season opening game against Georgia State, and is overcome by tears. He's just overwhelmed that he has his opportunity to even get back on the field. He took a couple of snaps, thought that might have just been a gesture from Coach Monken to allow him to get back on the field in a game that was in hand. And as it turns out, Jabari was on the field several times throughout the season in meaningful minutes. And then for him to be able to come into that game and lead that team to victory, and Army needed Jabari Laws. If Jabari Laws wasn't the quarterback at that point in time, Army would not have won the game. So for Jabari to come back, it was heroic, and it was dramatic, and it was emotional for Coach Monken. Afterwards said that, he knew everything that Jabari had put into getting back to that moment. And it was a storybook. And I don't think that got enough play nationally, but the fact that he was able to end his career on that type of moment, and that moment was so gratifying, and that's what college athletics is all about.
It is an incredible finish for Army. I'm very happy that I picked Army West Point, and happy to see what they were able to do. I also have to mention this because Kenny Matalolo is going to be doing a special with me coming up here very soon, and I just did one with Tony O'Gully, who played in the backfield for them, and the brother of Prince Tyson Gully, who played at Syracuse. And so we were speaking on Army-Navy. I'll speak with Kenny Matalolo on the Army-Navy game. When he had, at the beginning of his time at Navy, now 14 seasons, and he's been to 10 bowl games. Of those 14 seasons, he had an 8-year winning streak of Navy defeating Army. He's won 2 of the last 3. Despite going 4-8 this year, Navy beat Army. I know you've been on the Army side of things, but I know you got a lot of respect for Kenny Matalolo. Your thoughts on him being a thorn in the side, knowing that when he is at Navy, Navy's been getting the best of Army a bunch of times?
Yeah, I would classify Ken as much more than the thorn in the side. Ken is a phenomenal football coach, and he's an even better person, individual. I'll tell you something about Ken. I've known him for all the years that he was at Navy, and have deep respect for Ken Niumatalolo. Have deep respect for what he did there. Navy reeled off 14 straight wins over Army, and Ken was the head coach for 8 of them. Right, so when you were in that kind of run on the side that we were in at West Point, again, it's devastating, and you get it's hopeless. And many of those years, they were blowouts, but many of those years, as the streak started to come to a close, there were close games. Army was in position to win, and Army just hadn't learned how to win yet. It was here we go again kind of thing, and Navy just had supreme confidence. Well, the year that Army did snap the streak down in Baltimore, I'm outside the locker room in the runway, and the 2 locker rooms are close by, and I know Ken. I know Ken, and I'm the sport administrator at West Point at the time for football, and so he knows me, and I know him very well. And he goes out of his way as he's leaving the locker room that day. He sees me across the hallway, and it wasn't along his normal path to leave. He was dressed in a suit. He always comes dressed in a suit and sports coat, and he's leaving with his family. And he saw me, and he redoubled his steps back to come over and shake my hand and congratulate me. And I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I'm an administrator. But he knew how much we all put into that game, how much passion there is on both sides. And he went out of his way to congratulate me at a time that he had to be feeling pretty terrible, and that they lost, and that streak was gone. And he's just a first-class individual. While I was really upset for the Army faction on December 11th this year, I was happy for Ken. they got better as the season went on, and that's a tremendous tribute to his coaching acumen. And I knew that game was going to be a fist fight. I knew it was going to be a brawl, and I knew that Navy was going to be in the game until the final possession without question. And I had such deep respect for Ken. I was so happy for him. As I was devastated for Army, I was very pleased for Ken to come away with a victory. He's a wonderful individual, a great leader of men, and there are two of the best coaches in the country are leading the two service academies closest to my heart, Navy and Army, of course. And I love the fact that Ken Niumatalolo is leading Navy, and I love the fact that Jeff Monken is leading Army.
Great answer here from Bob Beretta this morning. Bob, before I let you go, as we stay with college football, I got to ask you this. The Chick-fil-A kickoff, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is coming up here, and we get to see Pittsburgh against Michigan State. That's a game that I've been covering very closely. And I'd love to get your thoughts on Pitt, since Servassier Dennis from CBA right down the road from Moyne is going to be playing in the game. But also, we have the college football playoff semis coming up. Cincinnati, Alabama. You know that I've beaten the drum for Cincinnati for 2 years now. I'm happy that the committee finally did the right. This is the first time that I think the committee ever did the right thing when it comes to the four. Now, Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan are all in there. I got to get your thoughts on seeing a Central New York native playing in the Peach Bowl. And then secondly, what do you think about the Final Four?
Yeah, I'm excited about the Peach Bowl. I'm disappointed that Kenny Pickens opted out, but it's not a surprise in this day and age. It's disappointing. It is disappointing to me when players opt out. I just feel like it's just horrible for your teammates. I understand it. I understand these young men have professional endeavors and careers and multi-million-dollar contracts on the line. So I get it. It's just so disappointing when you watch a team in a bowl game like last night with Mississippi State. That team was gutted by players that had opted out, right? Injuries and COVID and everything. That wasn't the same team. And then you saw the result was 34-7. So I'm excited to watch Pittsburgh. They've been a fun team to watch all year long. With Kenny Pickens at the controls, I assume that they'll step in and be very competitive. I have great respect for their coach, Coach Narduzzi. I know this is an interesting matchup for him, as he's going to square off against a team that he coached for many, many years on the defensive side of the ball. That's going to be a fun game to watch. And anytime we have a local representation, that adds the intrigue to me. When we have a local player in any of these games, I generally will root for that team. So I'll be rooting for Pittsburgh for sure in that one. And then, as far as the football playoff, I'm excited about it. I think Cincinnati's for real as well. I scheduled a game at Army last year with John Cunningham, their athletic director, in about a 3-week span in August for a game that Army went out and played at Cincinnati last year. It was during COVID when our schedule was ravaged there at West Point, and was able to pick up Cincinnati. And that was a good game. Army gave Cincinnati a pretty good battle. I think Cincinnati's for real. Their athletic is all get out. I love the quarterback. Ritter is a tremendous player. What a great competitor. They have skill at the skill positions, and they have bulk and depth in the middle. I think it's going to be a much closer game than people anticipate. I do think Alabama will win, but I think Cincinnati will put forth a tremendous showing, and they will, as we've seen so far in the bowls, right? In the bowls, the AAC has had a good run so far, and the SEC hasn't. At least the bottom half of the SEC hasn't done so well. They're 0-4. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. I do believe Alabama will prevail, but I think Cincinnati is going to be a fun team to watch and a tough out. And I'm excited about the Michigan-Georgia game. And I don't know. I got a feeling that this might be a year for Jim Harbaugh on Michigan to win it all. I just get that feeling. He was so embattled, and what he did with his bonuses, he went from being a villain to being a hero, I think, overnight, right? Nationally. So I'm rooting for Michigan. I'd like to see Michigan win it all. And, but I think it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks for college football, as long as we can all stay healthy and safe.
Yeah, and as you and I were talking about this, I'll be covering a bunch of these games. And I will also have the opportunity to sit and watch. And I am so excited about that opportunity. I know you'll be sitting and watching and enjoying. I'll be doing that. So we might have to have a little maybe we could do something fun, a little picture-in-picture Beretta and DT as we watch the game. and maybe have a live reaction. We could do something like that.
Yeah, that would absolutely look forward to it. That would have been fun for the Army game, at least for that last play. You probably wouldn't have wanted to see my reaction there. It would have been good for your show. But love to do it, Dan. Love talking college football with you, and you're so knowledgeable and so passionate about it. It's always a thrill to get to exchange some ideas about what's going on the national front.
Well, and let the record state that when Army defeated Missouri, one of the two of us made a phone call to the other one, and that other one did not answer. So
the other one was celebrating. That's why.
Because I did call. I was like, man, I got to call Bob. I got to get to him first.
By the time I saw that you called, though, it was a little bit after midnight. I didn't want to return your call that late.
Well, I'm excited for the rest of bowl season. Always great with AD and DT. And Bob, what we get to do with Lemoyne in this multimedia marketing partnership has been so incredible for me on my side. I know that we just got started a few months ago, but the stories I've gotten to tell, the people that I've gotten to meet, what we've gotten to get out there from Linda Lemura, from you, from so many student athletes, Ellie Summers, who just had hers come out. We have had so many great stories about why Lemoyne. And I'm just thankful that you have entrusted me with this opportunity, because I feel that it's already paid off in just, for me, my life, getting around really good people, telling their stories. I selfishly get to build friendships and build bonds, and I just want to thank you as we head into 2022 that we have pushed the envelope to get Lemoyne out there, and we're only going to push it farther.
Well, I wouldn't want to leave 2021 without thanking you, Dan, for your friendship, your support, this relationship, this multimedia partnership with Lemoyne College and Lemoyne College Athletics. You talk about things that I'm grateful for in 2021. Certainly coming to Lemoyne as the Director of Athletics is high on that list, and followed closely behind is the partnership that we've developed, and certainly the friendship we developed, and your ability to tell stories like no other. Tell our student athlete stories, and I believe there are so many there. And to have a partner like you to capture those individual personalities and be able to bring those to light to our community is very, very important to me and to our nation, really, to your worldwide audience. So I very much appreciate that, and thankful for the ability to partner with you in 2021 and look for great things moving forward.
Well, Bob, those words mean a lot, and like I tell you and Linda, I'll work my way to be worthy of them. She told me you don't have to, you already are, but, very kind. She said that she's a bigger fan of me than you are. I would disagree. So, I don't know.
We don't disagree on much, the president and myself, but that one we'll have to agree to disagree on.
Yeah, well, we love Linda, and wishing Linda all the best as well. So, Bob, as always, I'm a big fan of you both. That's why I'm comfortable saying that. She's just an incredible human being, and so are you. From the moment I met you both, I knew that I had met two really good people that I, anywhere in this world, would want to partner with. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for coming to our community. Thank you for building up Lemoyne, and for being somebody in Central and Upstate New York that sees the worth of our community, sees the worth of Lemoyne College, of the Dolphins. And, I mean, everything that you have done has been just first class. And what I see, and why I came back and why I built my business here, I see what you're doing here, and I love it. I see what Linda's doing here, and I love it. And I just want to let you guys know that, you have my support, you have my love and my appreciation, my friendship, and my business relationship. And I'm just very, very honored to have you in my corner, and I appreciate and I thank you for the person that you are.
Well, we feel as blessed as well, Dan, and look forward to building on all of it here in the weeks, days, and months ahead.
Well, that coming from Bob Beretta. We picked the right horse. Army over Missouri. Let's go. So, very good stuff. Bob, as always, thank you for everything. I know you and I will be talking, but happy early New Year, and God bless, and enjoy some football.
Same to you, Dan. Happy New Year to you and all of our listeners out there, and thanks so much. We can't end a conversation without a fins up, so fins up.
Fins up, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care now.
Take care.
Bye.
That coming from Bob Beretta once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. You know that we got a special coming up with Gary Stokan, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Pittsburgh and Michigan State, and the Peach Bowl in general from year to year. Also, overseeing the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, Syracuse has one against Tennessee in 2025 with an orange out, and we have that to talk about. So many great things coming up with another great person in our wonderful world that we live in. Morality, honesty, humility, faith, joy, kindness, community. You're about to get all of that from Gary Stokan, after getting that from Bob Beretta. So we're very spoiled this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Coming up in just a moment, we'll be joined by Gary Stokan in a special video conversation you don't want to miss a second of. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Well, Here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. You're watching on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, youtube.com, obviously where you can go and subscribe to us for the Wake Up Call DT channel. You can also find us on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/live now DT. And of course, you're listening worldwide on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. So with that being said, joining me picture in picture here, we have done a lot of conversations together, and we've never gotten to do it like this, and that is Gary Stokan, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., which oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game, and so much more, including their connection to the College Football Hall of Fame, as well as all that they do in the community all throughout the year. So with that being said, Mr. Gary Stokan, how are we doing?
Dan, thanks for having us. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. And we look forward to hopefully getting to Thursday to kick this thing off with all that's going on. I just saw that the Holiday Bowl with my alma mater, NC State, had to cancel tonight's game.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy how everything has happened, and these last 19 months or so have really challenged so many people. Just what you could say you have done to navigate through these challenges, especially being connected when it comes to the bowl world and, collegiate athletics, that, this is something you're dealing with as a grandfather, as a father, as a husband, as a friend, and at the same time, you're dealing with it in the grand scope of, hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. So how have you navigated through the last 19 months?
Well, it's been interesting, that's for sure. You learn how to adapt and be flexible. And, we created a next person up for COVID last year. And we went through not being able to have 3 Chick-fil-A kickoff games. We had our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl with Georgia and Cincinnati, number 8, number 9, with only 25% capacity. We went this year with being able to have 2 Chick-fil-A kickoff games with Alabama, Miami, and Louisville and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Now we're here still facing COVID protocols at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at the end of 2021. So it's been tough mentally, physically, emotionally, financially on a lot of people. We're blessed we haven't lost anybody to COVID. I pray for those people that have suffered death in their family or friends.
Yeah.
Just have to learn how to adapt to things and come up with a backup plan, which we're used to being in this type of business.
Yeah, and having that backup plan ready has been something that's been trying on everybody in certain ways. And like you said, to anyone who's lost a loved one, we feel for them more than anything, and for anyone who's passed on themselves. And, we feel for that and pray for the spirits and for their families to be safe and sound and well. Faith is something that's been a key ingredient to your life and to my life, the main ingredient, if you will. How have you utilized that with your team, with your family, with yourself in dealing with unprecedented times?
Well, we've been blessed. I told people that, a lot of life is carrying a positive attitude. And we've been blessed that our staff, we've been named the best places to work by the Atlanta Business Chronicle, and we've been named best employer in sports by Front Office Sports. So we've tried to take care of our people. Most importantly, they're our most important assets, by giving them the time and the emotional support to let them flourish and survive to some degree in this crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
So we've tried to take care of them emotionally, spiritually, financially, and giving them a platform that they feel like they're comfortable, that they can move forward in the crazy times that we live.
We look at, everything that has been going on and obviously the fluidity of COVID protocols and whatnot. What have you done this season for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to do everything you can for the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Michigan State Spartans to make sure that this thing goes off well? What did you learn from last year? and how are you dealing with the fluidity still of the situation?
Well, we're applying a lot of things we did learn last year, obviously with masks and social distancing. Our team is fully vaccinated. We've tried to do as much virtually as we can and staying in touch. And we've tried to limit the amount of, opportunity for people to mix with other people outside the team.
Yeah.
In other words, all of our press conferences have moved to virtual. Our after the game press conferences will be virtual. We've tried to cut down on the events that we have, putting other people around the teams. They can stay safe and healthy, which is the most important thing that we want to do this week, so that they're able to play the game on Thursday night.
And, you said it, that, as crazy as the world continues to be, that you could actually take from last year because you were able to play your bowl game. And just what you could say were some of the parameters, things that you put in place and different kind of pillars of last year that you could take into this season to make sure that you were ready for what could happen. How did you take the insanity, craziness, and just kind of, everything was up in the air last year and turn it into maybe a workable commodity this year?
Well, I think we've all learned how to be flexible. That's the most important thing. Don't be so rigid. In our business, you organize things and set things up, and then you look to execute them. Well, as you're setting them up, things may change, and so you have to be able to adapt and be flexible to call an audible, so to speak. You also have to have the kind of relationships internally and externally that people trust you and they know that you have their best interest in mind, both individually on your team and outwardly with the two universities that you're dealing with. So building that relationship is so important so that they trust in what you're trying to do. They'll buy into it and go along with it.
And how have you felt about Michigan State and Pitt and how they've responded to this fluid situation? How they come down and they're there, and we've been getting the emails. As someone who is an accredited member of the media coverage of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which I'm very appreciative over and thankful for. We get the emails of, hey, you can meet the team. We're going to do this, this, and this. Then we get an email saying, hey, this is going to be moved to here, and then this is going to go here, and this is going to be virtual. So, we're seeing the changes on our end. How have Pittsburgh and Michigan State responded to the potential for change?
Well, they've been great. They know that playing in a New Year's Six bowl game and like the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is awfully important to their program. Number one, they're playing for a lot. When you got Michigan State who can win 11 games for only the sixth time in their 97-year history and set them up to be in the top 10 to finish the year and to set them seniors out in the right way, but also set up next year's beginning of the season. And then you've got Pitt, who, if they win this game, would be only the second time in 117-year history that they'll have won 12 games. The time was the 1976 national championship team. So the kids have been great. They're resilient. They deal with things. So they've been great. And both Mel Tucker and Pat Narduzzi are great people, great leaders. They have great respect from their players who trust them explicitly. And so it's been a great week. It really has, with all the things that we've all had to deal with. So we're just looking forward to getting to the most important thing, which is the game on Thursday night.
And I promised myself, after not really traveling anywhere in 2020, and that was so weird for me. As you know, you go all throughout the country, and I travel as much as I can too, and try to go to a lot of different places. Haven't been on the West Coast yet, but I've been to a bunch of different parts, and I love travel, and I love meeting people and connecting and making my world smaller in a great way. So, 2020 was surreal to me, and I promised myself, I said in 2021, God willing, I'll be able to travel. And on January 1st of 2021, I kept my word to myself and I took my butt down to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and got to see Cincinnati and Georgia. Your thoughts on doing that now, hindsight 2020, and now dealing continuously with COVID protocol now, looking back on that game and pulling that off and having somewhat of capacity for that game, having us there in the media to be there on site, on location, just what your positive takeaways were from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl that ended the 2020-2021 season featuring Georgia and Cincinnati.
Well, you're right, Dan. We were really thankful that we were able to even put on the game because, earlier that year we had lost the opportunity to host Florida State, West Virginia, Virginia and Georgia, and Auburn and North Carolina in our Chick-fil-A kickoff game. So to have Cincinnati and Georgia come in, and really Cincinnati only came in for 3 days. They cut the schedule down for safety purposes, and Georgia really only came in the night before the game. So the kids really didn't even get a bowl experience, and we weren't able to put on our great Southern hospitality, which we're known for.
Yeah.
So, but the game was the most important thing, and we had a great game, went down to a last-second kick, and, I've talked to Luke Fickell, and, their run this year and with their placement this year to play in the semifinals, he says a lot of that was due to playing in last year's Chick-fil-A kickoff game, that his team found the confidence that they could play with Georgia, who this year was ranked number one for a lot of the season. So
yeah,
I think our game was really, as I said earlier, it gives teams an opportunity to set up their next year's schedule by giving them the confidence, and in case of Cincinnati, confidence to be the first team from the group of five to be in the college football playoff semifinal game.
Yeah, speaking here with Gary Stokan, president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and so much more, including the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game, and in certain seasons, games for the kickoff. And you just brought up the fact in the Peach Bowl last year, Cincinnati being able to play up against Georgia really showed them what they can do. And I've covered Cincinnati for the better part of almost a decade now, and their entire time in the American Athletic. And you brought up the Group of Five moniker. I don't like the Power Five, Group of Five. I know media terms, and that's because there's teams like UCF, like Cincinnati, that have done really incredible things on the football field that I think have gone unnoticed or underrepresented, or maybe judged before they were even, judged at the beginning of the season before they even played a game. I argued that they should have been the fourth team in the college football playoff last year, and seeing what they did against Georgia, leading that entire game, you saw it, I was there, you were there, they led about 85% of the way, and then it was a couple last possessions and a couple passes here and there that set up a field goal that ended up winning it for Georgia. The game ends and people say, well, that's the SEC being the SEC, Cincinnati doesn't belong. You and I both know that Cincinnati did belong, and if they are to win this time around, they could have a rematch with Georgia. And I think what we saw last season at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, like you were talking about with Luke Fickell, is they're not going to shy away from the moment. And there's nobody that Cincinnati believes is better than them. They don't see David and Goliath. They see themselves versus whoever. So anybody that thinks that they're afraid of Alabama should probably go back and watch the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on January 1st of 2021.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We've been blessed to have Michigan, who's in the Final Four now 2 years ago. We've been able to have Alabama just in our Chick-fil-A kickoff game to start the season this year. Georgia last year and Cincinnati last year. So within the last 2 years, 3 years, I guess, we've had all four of the teams in the Final Four. So, and next year we'll kick off our Chick-fil-A kickoff game with Georgia versus Oregon.
Yeah.
With two top 10 teams, with Dan Lanning, ironically enough, coaching against his mentor and a lot of kids he's recruited at the University of Georgia. And then we'll kick off the ACC season on Monday night with Clemson, who I think will be in the top 10 again next year, against Georgia Tech. And then we'll end the season with the semifinal of the CFP with either number one against number four or two against three. So 5 of the 6 teams that will be playing in our Chick-fil-A kickoff games and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl will all be ranked in the top 10 next year. And following that up with having the 4 teams that are in the Final Four this year, over the last 3 years, there's been a lot of great football being played at Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowls.
What has that meant for you that you can say that? You know, that you look at the resume of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, and that you can say that the 4 teams that are fighting for the national championship this year within the last 3 seasons have been in your building, playing in your games that you're overseeing. It's incredible to see the level of talent. And it's not just that you saw some talent. You have seen what's been regarded by the College Football Playoff Committee as the best talent this year. And you've seen those players and those coaches, you know, the Kirby Smarts and the Jim Harbaughs and the Nick Sabans and the Luke Fickles. Those coaches haven't changed. So you've had them in your building, and you know that what they're capable of and what they've done, just what that means to your product to see that those 4 teams have advanced to where they are right now, fighting for the nation's top team moniker.
Well, Dan, it's one of the reasons why a lot of the media call Atlanta the capital of college football, with the being the 4th largest convention town in the United States behind Chicago, Las Vegas, and Orlando. Atlanta, 3 of their top 5 conventions this year will be Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we were a bowl that, ironically enough, was created for charity.
Yeah.
Unlike the rose, the sugar, the orange, the cotton, which were created to bring tourism to their cities during the holiday season, we're doing both. We're able to provide this year about $100 million of economic impact in these tough COVID times to our tourism and hospitality industry, which resonates to about $6 million in sales tax that will go back into the city coffers. So we're able to provide that benefit to the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, but also we're the most charitable bowl organization in the country, where this year we'll give $5 million back to charity. Last year we did the same during the COVID years, even though we didn't have our Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, and only 25% with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which totals to about $62 million since 2002 that we've given away in charitable donations. So, you know, we maintain that moniker and that mission of being the most charitable bowl organization. And we were created to give, being a bowl game created for charity. And we do so humbly, but we do so proudly as well.
You know, and having the give back to the community, not just monetarily, but with time and energy, just what you can say that's done for you as the president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., how it motivates you every single day to go to work, knowing that your bowl was created to aid others, and that's been who you are, Gary. I mean, that's all I've known you to be. So that parallel of the creation of the Peach Bowl to be a charitable organization, and for who you are with your charity, giving your time, your energy, and your faith, I would imagine has been a perfect marriage of sorts. Just what you could say about what it's like to get up every day and to have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and Peach Bowl Inc. be where you get to go to work, knowing who you are as a human being.
Well, thank you for those compliments. We're very blessed, that's for sure. And it's ironic that being from Pittsburgh and having the University of Pittsburgh in our bowl game, and the donation that we made to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta 2 years ago of $20 million to find cures and trials to eradicate childhood cancer. One of the 7 trials that we now have actually little kids involved in, as you have to start with adults, or you have to start with animals, then adults, because of toxicity levels. And then you get into the children once it's proven that it works and won't harm children. One of the trials that we have is ironically enough, with kids in the University of Pittsburgh Hospital, Children's Hospital. So, you know, just that feeling and that perspective that you're giving back to your hometown, you're giving back to kids that are less fortunate, all through using, you know, the gifts God's given you. You know, my philosophy of life is God's gift to you is life. Your present back to him is how you take those God-given talents and maximize the potential of those. So all I've tried to do in 42 years of being in sports business is take the talents he's given me and try and maximize to give back through using sports. And we're very blessed to be able to do so.
And when you look at, the fact that you talk about the irony of the University of Pittsburgh and your connection to it, and then charitably the connection back to it in the Pittsburgh area, and then having Pittsburgh here as a team, you don't get to choose the teams. College Football Playoff Committee chooses them. So just what you can say about that, because you've done a great job at selling tickets and being, one of the bowl games out there that has no issue packing the stands, and whether it's 25% capacity or 100% capacity. So how do you go about the uniqueness of selling a product, not always knowing who it's going to be? And this year it's Pittsburgh and Michigan State, and last year it was Cincinnati and in Georgia. So, at any given time, it could be anybody from anywhere. How do you have a business model that approaches this so successfully, knowing that it's kind of like putting your hand into a lottery system and just picking out one of the balls?
Well, we have a great staff to start with, and they're the best in the business. We're blessed in the city of Atlanta having very, very passionate fans for college football that buy the tickets. So a lot of credit goes to them. We package our tickets with the semifinal game that we have, as people, they want to see number one against number two against three. But the city of Atlanta, with the corporate support that we have through our board, with the passionate fans that we have, the great volunteers, and the great staff, we're just very blessed to be able to put that all together and be able to sell out 22 of the last 24 games. And so it's really been great to see the Peach Bowl go from what was, some media talked about being a third-tier bowl game, into a bowl that's in the New Year's Six. I mentioned it now in the same sentence with bowls that are 85 to 100 years old, like the Cotton, the Rose, the Orange, and the Sugar Bowl. So we fought hard to get here. We've been strategic. We've put together great teams and have great continuity of our people. And we've given back either through College Football Hall of Fame, moving it to Atlanta and sustaining it and building it, creating our Peach Bowl Challenge to host the coaches and give back to their charities and their universities by endowing, over $8.5 million of college scholarships to the universities that have played in our game. We feel like we've given back to the game, and we feel like that's one of the reasons why the commissioners, the ADs, the coaches, and the presidents have made us a part of the New Year's Six.
And being in the New Year's Six and knowing that you're going to be in the rotation, there's 43 bowl opportunities currently in America. That gives us 86 teams that are going to be in competition of the 130 FBS schools, and some FCS get involved like Jackson State this year. So seeing that there's bowls just all over the place, to be on a short list of New Year's Six that we know are going to be in the rotation, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, just the importance that you can say and just what it says about Atlanta, what it says about Peach Bowl Inc. and all the work that you're doing, that amongst 40 plus bowl games, you're a part of a group of six that is going to have its rotation to always be able to feature the top four teams in the country every few years.
Well, the partnership with Chick-fil-A, as I always tell people, they have great food, but they're better people. And they've been a big part of our success. We thank them, and the partnership that we have continues and will continue through 2025 till the end of the CFP contract now. For both our Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So they're heavily invested in college sports. They're an Atlanta company, and as most people in the corporate world in Atlanta learn, giving back is what we do in the city of Atlanta to make Atlanta better, and Chick-fil-A is a perfect representation of that. And then it trickles down from there with just being able to have the great city that we live in, with the number one airport in the world, hourly flights into Atlanta, 13,000 hotel rooms downtown, a lot within walking distance of our great facilities like Mercedes-Benz Stadium, great activities like the College Football Hall of Fame or world's largest aquarium or World of Coca-Cola, within walking distance of all the hotels. and 3 interstates intersect in the middle of downtown. So easy drive for a lot of people to get there as well. So we're very, very blessed that we have a great infrastructure, and you put on top of that great people with a committed strategy and vision and a lot of hard work. And that's the outcome you get is, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the success that we've been able to achieve.
Gary Stokan here, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Gary, before I let you go, to look at the future that we have here coming up for the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games in 2022, as you talked about, Oregon and Georgia, Clemson and Georgia Tech. And then in 2023, we have Louisville and Georgia Tech. 2024, Clemson and Georgia, which was a huge game at the beginning of this season. The 2025, South Carolina and Virginia Tech. And added to the schedule just within these last few months, Tennessee and Syracuse will be part of the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games. So just what you can say about the plethora of teams you have, and that my hometown in 2025 is going to be down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Well, John Wildhack, first off, is a good friend, and I think very respected in the industry, and what he's done at Syracuse, being so successful there. We wanted to give the opportunity to Syracuse in the ACC, come play an SEC school like Tennessee. So we will have an orange out in 2025 in Atlanta, and we wanted to get out in front and really schedule some meaningful matchups. Obviously, you got to get lucky by getting teams that at that time are coming on. We think that will be the case with the Tennessee-Syracuse game. Better lucky than good sometimes. But we also wanted to schedule out because so many ADs thinking there could be expansion of the CFP playoff have scheduled home and home conference, non-conference games. So that inventory is shrinking. And you'll see a lot of the cities that have followed us, whether it be Dallas or Houston or Orlando, Charlotte, a lot of them have not been able to do anything year to year. Take, for example, Dallas this year had to go buy a game from Kansas State against Stanford that was scheduled to be a Kansas State home game. They had to buy that game and move it to Dallas so that they could have a kickoff game played. So we've got some really good games coming up over the next 4.5 years, and we look forward to hosting them and making them a part of the Peach Bowl and Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game and Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl family.
And Gary, before I let you go here, in closing, just what you could say to be president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., and we talk about the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, College Football Hall of Fame, the city of Atlanta, Georgia in general, and everything that you do charity-wise and whatnot, golf outings and different things you get to do. Bring me into what your day-to-day is like, what it is to be the president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc.
Well, I try and support my team. I create the vision and the strategy, and they do a lot of the execution. They do a lot of the hard work. But we've got a lot of continuity in our staff, people that have been with me for 24 years and 20 years. So we know each other. We play off each other very, very well, and we respect each other. We have a business philosophy internally that's teamwork, empowerment, accountability, management. We work together as a team. We recruit people to specific roles to play on the team, much like a coach recruits. You don't want your center bringing the ball up the court playing point guard, and you don't want your point guard playing center trying to block shots and rebound. So we, in business, and that's all I've tried to do for my coaching background and playing background is, every business needs legal, financial, operations, marketing, and sales.
Yeah.
So we've tried to recruit experts in those fields, put them together on a team. We empower each of those individuals to play their role, make sure they understand the role, accept the role, and let them play the role. With the empowerment of E comes A, accountability. If you don't play your role, we're going to lose. So you're accountable to the rest of the team. And that's how we manage the process, is through teamwork, empowerment, accountability, management. So that's how we've been able to be so successful, is have a clear vision, have a clear way of working. And my staff does a great job of it.
And for you, I mean, I know that you try to obviously make the experience incredible and unique when it comes to the teams that are playing in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Bring me into what you try to do. And, you know, obviously when things have to be fluid, like we talked about throughout this entire conversation, just how you have tried to make the experience fun for Michigan State and Pittsburgh, and just what it's been like to do some different things here with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, how you make sure that they get to know Atlanta and get to know each other and have some fun, because yes, it's a football game, and yes, it's extremely important, and it's used in recruiting and to make money for the schools and exposure and extra practices, but you also want them to have a good time as well.
Well, again, I go back to my playing days. You know, when I was a basketball player at North Carolina State, I can still remember Coach Norm Sloan took us to Pace University to practice in New York. We were playing in the NIT. After practice, he said, "Okay, boys, get a shower. We're going to Broadway." And we were 18, 19 years old, and we had never been to New York, so going to Broadway was a big deal. He said, "Yeah, we're going to see a Broadway play." And we said, "What? We don't want to go to a Broadway play." And he took us to the best little whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. I'm aging myself now. But it opened my mind to Broadway plays. And I will tell you, Dan, from that day to this day, I'm in New York at least once a year. I make time to go see a Broadway play. So what I've tried to do with the bowl is create a theme. And the theme is this is a reward for players. So we want them to live, laugh, and learn. I asked them to do three things. We'll do three things for them. I want them to do two things for us during the week. Three things we'll do is they'll live great, eat great food like Chick-fil-A, get great gifts, practice in great facilities and play in a great facility. We'll want them to laugh, so we've created a Battle for Bowl Week with a 40-pound WWE belt, that we have competitions every night for them to compete, and then they give the belt back that next day and compete again the next night in something. And then lastly, we want them to learn. So as I'm sitting here today, Pitt is listening to Coach Bill Curry, who was an SEC champ at Alabama, ACC and SEC Coach of the Year, played on the Baltimore Colts when they won the Super Bowl with Johnny Unitas, played on the Green Bay Packers, won the Super Bowl with Bart Starr, and he was the center to both those great quarterbacks. And he's written a book called 10 Men in the Huddle. And it talks about how a kid from inner city LA and a kid from the sticks in North Carolina can be in a huddle and have different ethnic backgrounds, different religious beliefs. But when they get in that huddle next to each other, they're teammates. And they become close because they know they depend on each other to make that next play work and make that team win. And so they're listening to Bill Curry in that speech right now. We take them to Children's Healthcare, where those kids during the Christmas season didn't get out of the hospital and may never get out of that hospital. Yeah. For that coach of Pitt and Michigan State to give back with the players to those kids is special. And then lastly, we want them to also learn by just going through the College Football Hall of Fame. And as I tell them on the first night they arrive, we want one of you to be inducted in that College Football Hall of Fame 15 to 20 years from now. So when you walk through there, we want you to be inspired. We want you to be that person who you're seeing them in the Hall of Fame now, but we want you to be that person in 20 years from now and get inducted and come back to Atlanta. So it's live, laugh, and learn. And then we ask them to do two things. One is to have an attitude of gratitude in everything that they do this week. So when you get out of bed, have a great attitude, because if you have a great attitude, something good could happen. If you have a bad attitude, I guarantee you something bad's going to happen that day. And secondly is enjoy the journey. God doesn't promise us another second, minute, hour, day on this earth. And so enjoy right now. Enjoy the day. Enjoy this person you're next to. Enjoy your roommate. Have fun this week and enjoy the game because, you never know when those sands of time run out. So you better enjoy it. Don't wait till, you're 70 years old and retired and say, boy, is that all there was? Don't be a wish I coulda, shoulda guy. Enjoy the journey right now. So that's kind of the theme we use. They do two things for us, and we ask them right from the beginning. Right now, we want you to turn to the person next to you and get up and thank them because as your teammate, they helped you get here. And when you leave this room, carry that forward. Call your parents tonight, your brother and sister, your head coach. They all helped you get to this pinnacle of college football success. And show them a little attitude of gratitude.
Every time we talk, I am moved. And what you do with everything on the, collegiate side of things is beautiful. But more than anything else, Gary, I'm so happy that when we had a bunch of people at ACC kickoff years ago walking around representing bowls, I just said, you know what? I'm the type of person to do this. I'm like, I'm going to introduce myself to as many people as I possibly can. And if but one of them says, yes, I'll do an interview, then that's something I didn't have before. And that's a win. You sat down with me. You changed my life back then. You have no idea how much you changed it sitting in that room years and years ago. I think it was like 8 years ago when you had said something to me. And I just remember sitting there and I had so many feelings, so many things trying to take my mind off of my job and what I do and what I love. And I sat there with you and I talked with you and I just saw what I needed to see. And it was something positive. And you saw something in me when I was struggling to see anything in myself. And so to look back then to now, I can only tell you that it's so much more to me than Peach Bowl Inc. It's more to me than the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Games and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It's who you are as a human being. It's someone I want to be connected to. I want to work with. I want to find ways to collaborate. I know we do interviews and whatnot, but hopefully, I would like to think that we've barely scratched the surface, and maybe Gary Stokan and Dan Tortora, arm in arm with something else in the future, could be something down the road. Maybe, just maybe.
Well, Dan, I want to compliment you. I've always heard, and Truett Cathy, who's my favorite businessman, always told me, Gary, if you do something you'll love, you'll never work a day in your life. And what I saw in you was somebody that was passionate, somebody that was going to make it work what you were trying to do. And I love that in people, someone that's willing to give it all and give it up and do whatever they have to do to make it work. And I saw that in you and I saw that passion and it exists still today. You have a passion of what you're doing and that's why you're going to be successful and you are successful. So I'm just happy to be appreciated. Happy to be someone that somebody wants to talk to and listen to. And so we'll look forward to hosting you down in Atlanta again this year and in the future as well.
And I'm excited about it. And all I know is above everything else, below God and below our friendship, but in the top three, we both love Chick-fil-A.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. As I said, they have great food, but they're better people, and we're better for being involved with them. So we'll look forward to sharing a Chick-fil-A sandwich with you down in the press box.
And I do want to make a quick note here, Gary, because I know that this is meaningful to you. Jim Sikowski, who I work with and partner with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay in Central and Upstate New York, he is the owner-operator of both, and he has publicly been fighting up against ALS and has done a tremendous job, continues to hire, continues to meet with people every single day to be happy, and he's always at Chick-fil-A Cicero and always at Chick-fil-A Clay. He has been changing lives and just showing what Chick-fil-A is all about and what he's all about. So if you can send up a prayer or two his way, I know he would appreciate it. And, to the place where Chick-fil-A began, I know that I'm sure Jim Sikowski's name has been across their desk many times because he is one of the people that truly embodies what they're supposed to be and who they are.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I'll keep him in my prayer list and start with tonight. And it's like I said, they're better people than their food, and their food is great and the best in the business. So that's a perfect example of what Chick-fil-A people are all about. So thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to eat some now. No joke. Hand to God.
Go get him. Go get him. All right, I owe you a sandwich when I see you in Atlanta.
Sounds good. I'll talk with you
Thanks,
soon.
Dan. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
All right. Bye-bye.
Café Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Café Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way over there every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. for their general store as well as their indoor dining and their drive-through carry-out window. Grab your food and go. The Millhouse Market, keeping it easy, keeping it simple, and keeping it fresh. There are so many fantastic items you can get there. Download the Millhouse Market app to have everything at your fingertips, from their quinoa bowls to rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, breads, desserts, and the sandwiches named after families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, they are second to none, and they are there for you on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. I don't care if you're 1 mile or 30 miles away. Trust me, it is worth the drive. You will not be disappointed. The only tough decision you will have when it comes to Millhouse Market is what are you going to get today and what are you going to bring home for later, because you cannot really choose between your favorite items that you have there. So many great things from Rebecca Alford and the team, and I thank them so much for all they do at the Millhouse Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. With that being stated, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us where sports meets that thing called life. We are going to
welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com.
We do that every single Wednesday broadcast, as you know, because we have fantasy football and we want to make sure you get to the information quickly and easily. So we're going to shift gears here and end this video. So for those of you watching and listening on YouTube and Facebook, stay with us. We'll be back momentarily. Those of you on wakeupcalldt.com and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, stay with us as we will continue to speak with you as